back in the day saw Gunna, they would...
Oh my God, I remember this picture, bro. I was not a fan of this fit, yeah. Not in the slightest. Nigga look like a luxurious stud.
Quick.
Oh, y'all can't even see. My fault, y'all. Hold on. Feast your eyes. My word. Good God almighty. Like I said, luxurious stud. Nigga. It's the face fat, though. Feel me? When someone hasn't been taking care of themselves well enough, the face look fatter. And when they have been, look at Gunna, bro. Niggas thought bro was a clone coming out, nigga. It was like, yo, what the fuck happened to Sergio? Because he ain't in the kitchen no more. Y'all don't even get how that was a bar. Yo, peace and high vibes. We live in the hive. Come rock with number 9. Man, we in this month. Family, we in this jump. Y'all see by the title what we finna get into. Turn on my post notice to keep up with me. And yeah, man. Gunna did a whole rebrand. We all saw before our very eyes. Without further ado, let's get into it. Want to start off by saying I'm sorry for the hiatus. I know I disappeared at the worst possible time for myself. But we back in this jump.
Gunna just pulled off arguably one of the best repositions in personal branding in the last decade. While Young Thug has been running around trying to destroy everything he's built, Gunna took the classy, silent approach while continuing to position himself as a focused, independent, and disciplined human. And guess what? It's working. We've all been focused on the drama surrounding the YSL situation, but Gunna was locked in on a 3-step formula to set himself up for success, regardless of what some of the industry might think of him. I'm about to break down the exact framework that Gunna used, and more importantly,
on God, bruh, I remember when I seen this video, and you could tell immediately that this nigga wasn't the same, bro. He looked skinnier, but most of all, bro, the face. I swear to God, you can tell how a nigga taking care of himself when you look at his face. Me, yeah, bro, not gonna hold you. We've been up and down. We've been pretty volatile over the last month or whatever, nigga. It's the face fat, though. Feel me? When someone hasn't been taking care of themselves well enough, the face look fatter, and when they have been, look at Gunna, bro. Niggas thought bro was a clone coming out, nigga. It was like, yo, what the fuck happened to Sergio? Because he ain't in the kitchen no more. Y'all don't even get how that was a bar.
How you can use the same formula to completely transform how people see your brand, whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, or just trying to level up your own personal brand. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Roy, and my aim is to make a living off of studying personal brands and the content creation space. I'm super excited for this video because Gunna and his team have been running a straight masterclass on repositioning over the past 2 years, and it's a great example of how to reposition yourself and set yourself up for success after a crisis. So if you're into personal branding or the content creation space, make sure you smack that like button and subscribe so you can stick around for videos like this. So as we get through this presentation in this video, you're going to see the word masterclass a lot because, again, that's exactly what Gunna and his team have been doing, putting on an absolute masterclass in repositioning over the past 2 years. Just as a quick overview, if you aren't super tuned in on what's been going on.
That right there is Sergio Kitchens. That's Sergio Kitchens. This nigga right here. Hold on. Where the fuck is he? Well, god damn it. Can't find it. Fuck. But you know who I'm talking about. That other nigga, him coming out of prison, that's Gunna. This, Sergio.
Going on with Gunna in this whole YSL case, he has managed to successfully transform from a controversial figure to a wellness advocate and community leader while maintaining his quality of music post-incarceration. And when I say controversial figure, I don't necessarily mean Gunna himself was controversial. I just mean that the situation surrounding Gunna was very controversial with the whole snitching and all those kinds of allegations that were laid onto him. And in my opinion, he's performing a live demonstration of how you can strategically flip from crisis management to sustained commercial success and still maintain cultural relevance, even if it appears negative to your peers, but not the audience. So again, you can have folks in your industry that are hating on you or don't want you to succeed, but as long as your friends, family, and your audience are on board and speaking positively of you and what you're putting out, then none of it really matters. And unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know at least some of the stuff that's going on in this YSL case with Gunna, Young Thug, and a couple of other YSL members. But as a quick summary.
Look, once again, you can tell how a nigga taking care of himself by how fat they face is.
YSL case with Gunna, Young Thug, and a couple of other YSL.
That's not big slime right there, nigga. No, that is big slime. Fuck is we talking about, nigga? That is big slime right there, nigga. Young Thug coming in, bro wasn't big face like this. Bro looked like he fucking missed Puff.
YSL members. But as a quick summary, Gunna made a out for plea deal in December of 2022, which in theory would let him maintain innocence while accepting guilt. Now, anytime you see this word plea deal get thrown around in the rap and hip hop culture, you're automatically labeled a snitch, right? That's why I said in theory it should maintain innocence, but in all actuality, the whole industry has pretty much labeled Gunna as a rat and a snitch. Now, this led to him only serving 7 months of time served, plus he got a 4-year suspended sentence with community service. And in my eyes, this decision proved important as it freed him to begin his immediate comeback, while Young Thug and others still remained in jail for another 2 years after he struck that plea deal. Now, this allowed him to get the edge with the fans because he had a 2-year runway for him to kind of operate in his new lane and reposition himself as someone that was a healed soul or a wellness advocate or someone that was purely focusing on trying to be the best version of themselves. Gunna has really hit the gold mine in terms of rebranding and repositioning himself into this health and wellness industry. And as a side note, I really want you guys to see just how,
I mean, I'm looking at it like, is this even joke worthy or is this low-key hard?
Focusing on trying to be the best version of themselves. Gunna has really hit the gold mine in terms of rebranding and repositioning himself into this health and
what you think, bro? Is this fit hard?
Wellness industry.
I don't know. I don't know. He look like a gay Batman, but it's still kind of sweet.
And as a
it's still kind of sweet though.
I know what I really want you guys to see just how bad Gunna had it coming out of jail. We see here in this January 18, 2023 article.
Now that joint's sweet.
So about 2 months after he was released, kind of summarizing exactly where his personal brand was at the time when he was released. Where the headline reads, "The court screwed Gunna and now he's being shunned by his peers. The rapper finds himself squeezed between the criminal justice system and the rap world, neither of which is as humane as it claims to be." And then the article goes on to say the arrest of Young Thug, Gunna, and other YSL associates in last May's RICO case elicited a unified response from within the rap world, right? Fans and other musicians resoundingly proclaimed free Gunna, free Young Thug when they first went in, but after his release in December following the Alfred plea deal that gave him time served and a 5-year suspended sentence, few people in the rap world celebrated, since footage of the Georgia plea hearing leaked and the world saw him affirm Fulton County prosecutors' assertion that YSL is a gang and YSL must end. He's been deemed as a snitch. YSL members, as well as other rappers like Polo G, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, have all unfollowed him on Instagram, and fans believe they've been throwing slide disses at him in certain verses and whatnot. But this is a great example of what him and his team was faced with when they came out of jail and just how bad they had it in the industry. Because one thing you got to keep in mind is that if you're labeled with that snitch or that rat in the hip hop industry, you might as well kiss your career goodbye, because that's damn near the death kiss. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and ask 6ix9ine. Now, the beautiful thing about Gunna's situation is that even after all that, his post-release success was monumental in his resurgence back to relevancy. He achieved 6 consecutive #1 debuts on the R&B hip-hop charts post-comeback. We have this Billboard headline that says, "Last to first, Gunna earns his 6th #1 on top of R&B and hip-hop albums chart." He has also generated over 1 billion streams for his comeback single, Fuck You Mean. And this was essentially his first single post-jail.
Young Gunna wanna back calling me splurge, watch me jump right out the curry, yeah. Bro, when Gunna came out and dropped that jump, first of all, niggas couldn't tell me nothing. I don't care if he snitched. When he got out, I was like, oh no, I don't give a fuck. I'm tapping in. I'm listening to my man Gunna Wanna. I didn't give a fuck, bro, because this jump that he dropped, I forgot what it was called, A Gift and a Curse, chef's kiss, a masterpiece, no skips.
After the Bread and Butter single, and we can see on his YouTube page that this song has over 100 million plays just on YouTube. So the music has honestly played a key pivotal role in Gunna seeing a resurgence in his career. He's also sold out arena tours across North America after facing backlash and snitching allegations, and this is all happening while his own peers, his own YSL members, and other people that he considers friends are labeling him with that big snitch word and trying to blackball him from the industry, or just not even speaking on his name at all. Now, there is a whole timeline of the Young Thug YSL Gunna drama that I'm not going to get into in this video, just because I want to focus purely on the step-by-step rebrand of Gunna. But if you are curious, you can go get this presentation in the description below. Then you can feel free to click on this Billboard article or go ahead and search it up on YouTube. There's literally hundreds of videos to pick from. Now, I keep mentioning Young Thug because I hope that this video gets...
You see? Bro, them niggas thunderstruck themselves, bro. They swapped. Freaky Friday ass YSL, bro. Because look how fat the nigga face was, bro. I'm telling you, look how slim his face was. 4 or 5 years later, complete role reversal.
Enough love to where I can make my own video on the downfall of Young Thug's personal brand post his release, because it's really a masterclass in how not to come out of jail. Sky's the limit for Young Thug to go, and he literally went the absolute wrong way. I do not know who's on his team and who's telling him to do these kind of things. But just for a quick example, he's been running around doing these weird ass podcast appearances. He's been shooting off random tweets that he deletes a couple hours later. He's been begging for his friends to call him back. He's even made a song of tweets that he deletes a couple hours later. He's been
what's understood ain't got to ever be explained. I'm with you forever.
Begging for his friends to call him back. He's even made a song apologizing to everyone that he did wrong.
7-minute apology song.
Wrong on the leaked jail.
I ain't see this junk get no publicity either.
Calls that have been going viral over the past month or so, and he's been dropping some very strange music where he just dropped an album.
Yo, bro, I listened to the first song of this shit and was absolutely pissed. First of all, bro, the nigga looked like Michael Beasley in this shit. Second off, the first song on that junk set us back 200 years, fool. Martin Luther King turning in his grave, Malcolm X just threw his hands, Marcus Garvey punching the air, hearing the way this nigga was on the first song.
Literally the other day, it was like a shadow drop almost of him being white or light skinned on the cover. It's just, it's not making any sense. It honestly makes him look a little bit weird or a little bit off. But you know, at the end of the day, it is Young Thug. He did build YSL. He is a media mogul at this point. Now, Gunna's strategy has essentially been a polar opposite, a complete contrast to what Young Thug is doing. He's pretty much stayed silent. He stayed out the way. He hasn't made any real public announcement or any statement regarding the situation. He's always wished love. He's pretty much been a stoic throughout this process, and that's honestly the right way to go about it. So he stuck to the music. He's honestly leaned into women, and that being more of his target audience now, since he's not really making music for the Atlanta drill scene. And obviously the big one is he chose health, wellness, and growth as his new angle, which right now in 2025 is a great angle to choose because it's reaching massive heights. And we see that all over Instagram, all over Twitter, all over all social media, where health and wellness influencers are really on the rise right now. So now that we got that out the way, we can finally talk about the 3-step formula to Gunna's.
Now, what's actually really powerful about this, and when I first seen Gunna doing his run club, whatever. No, when I first seen that he was running, this is years before he even did this one club a couple months ago. I was like, oh, he's rebranding himself to the self-improvement rapper. Feel me? To the overcoming obstacles rapper. To that rapper that everybody, they called him a snitch, all that fake hood shit in the past, or whatever. Who is he right now? What has he done for me lately? Oh, he's big on self-improvement, big on changing your life, big on eating healthy, big on running and taking care of yourself and keeping your physique and aesthetic right. Feel me? He's now made himself that's marketable and digestible to a much more broad audience. And that audience is so much more ideal for mainstream success. It's the woman. It's the white audience, which I like, because, you know, he got a lot of white listeners too. And the self-improvement space and the people who are growing themselves, feel me? Rather than just straight up hood shit.
Surgeons. So again, while everyone was focused on the drama, Gunna was locked in on a strategic framework to set himself up as untouchable in the industry. And I really want you guys to focus.
And he's untouchable in this lane. Like, genuinely, there's nobody else in this lane, bro.
On this part, because this is where you can start taking some of the value and then applying it to your own brand, personal brand, whatever it is. So step 1 is a visible proof of change. You want a physical transformation and lifestyle shifts that cannot be denied. Step number 2 is you need to frame the new narrative, right? You need strategic storytelling that positions the transformation. And last but not least, we have step 3, where we need to secure market validation, partnerships and collaborations that cement the new position that you were vying for. So let's understand where Gunna was at before he went into his reposition. So he was featured on Crime Stoppers. I remember that this was going somewhat viral. He was already almost labeled a snitch because he went on some Crime Stoppers TV show and was basically helping this investigative crew figure out who murdered his cousin, I believe. So people were already trying to say Gunna was a snitch. He was also viewed as Young Thug's little brother, right? So if somebody back in the day saw Gunna, they would...
Oh my God, I remember this picture, bro. I was not a fan of this fit, yeah. Not in the slightest. Nigga look like a luxurious stud.
Quickly be like, okay.
That fit is not sweet. And it's the boots that's killing it. It's the boots that's killing it. From afar, this shit look like some what's that see-through that girls be wearing, nylon or whatever? I don't know. Oh, y'all can't even see. My fault, y'all. Hold on. Feast your eyes. My word. Good God almighty. Like I said, luxurious stud.
well, where's Young Thug at, right? Like, he didn't have, his name didn't carry the weight that it did now. He was just kind of Young Thug's side piece. He was just a YSL member, another YSL member. He was essentially the beta within the relationship. He was also even back then pushing the whole fashion agenda, the fashion narrative. Like, he wanted to be a fashionista, he was putting shit on back in the day, right? He's still doing that to this day, but back then, when you're chunky, you're overweight, you drink lean and shit, it just doesn't hit the same, right? And we see here iconic photo that Rihanna put on for Halloween. This got millions and millions of views, and people were kind of laughing at Gunna, and he took the joke well, but this kind of gives you a sense of like what people thought of him, right? Just a big wide body kid that made decent music, but was just Young Thug's side piece, and like spent a lot of money on clothes that didn't really fit him well. So Gunna's original brand image was problematic. He was seen as secondary to Young Thug, lacking his
This nigga look like a fucking witch, bro. That hat with just this
own distinct identity and respect in the industry. And this obviously had a myriad of public perception challenges where the industry was very uncertain of who Gunna was. There were tons of rumors flying around as to who Gunna is. Is he a snitch? Is he not? And the industry began to distance himself once they were both in jail and once the idea of the plea deal coming out was set on the table. So the brand after the reposition, Gunna, aka The Last One, right? And this is his album that he just dropped called The Last One. He had the silent strategy, which I've been speaking about. He chose to stay silent and not say much. Remaining silent was actually very strategic and classy in my opinion. He had this approach of, y'all can take it how you want to take it. I'm healing or I'm healed at this point. I'm gonna fall back and let y'all tap in with me when y'all good and ready, right? He also had the comeback where he dropped Fuck You Mean. He had great album reviews since then. People have been playing his music over and over.
No features, by the way.
Again, proving that the silence and focus can beat the chaos. Now, this was a very risky play, right? Because potential industry backballing and career limitations could have kept going if he had too many consecutive missteps upon his release. So what do I mean by that? He could have got out here and went on 1,000 different podcasts. He could have made 1,000 different statements. He could have tweeted 1,000 different times. He could have done a lot of stuff to fuck up the perception from the industry, from his peers, and from the fans if he just went out and just was telling everybody, I ain't no snitch, I ain't did this and this.
Facts. The way he didn't speak on it at all is what made people just say, fuck it, it's in the past. Did he even snitch? Who knows? Who cares? If he had spoke on it or tried to explain what happened, then like bro said, people would have had more to say and more scrutinization towards bro.
Niggas ain't real and all the shit, right? But he didn't chose to do that. He chose to stick to the music for the most part, do a couple of interviews that were centered around the music, and make compelling endorsements and sponsorship deals that would align with his new image. And he also dropped an album called The Last One that was supposed to be the last one on the YSL label. This implies that this is the last of the old Gunna and that he has reached the crescendo of his evolution, right? Like he's pretty much saying Gunna is in the past. That was the last one. This new Gunna that y'all see, this is for me. This is, this is the new Gunna. This is the new and improved Gunna. So getting back into those 3 steps, we have pillar 1, which is that visible proof of change, right? So we need social proof and behavioral evidence. This leverages the psychological principle that people believe what they can see and verify themselves, making the transformation undeniable. That's the important part of the visible proof of change step, is that you want to make the transformation undeniable. Visual evidence creates cognitive anchoring. When audiences can physically observe change, it overrides skepticism and builds instant credibility for the new brand positioning. And now he's all about his fitness grind. He has a personal trainer. He's in the lab. He's cooking. He's trying to get to his best self, right? Who is going to root against that? Nobody, right? Everybody wants to be the best version of themselves. And you can't be mad at Gunna trying to do the same. So the key principle here is the undeniable proof of discipline.
But the biggest thing is that he becomes a symbol for inspiration, because everybody's going to root for you when they see your journey to becoming your best self. Like seeing the journey from this to this, everybody's going to root for that. But most importantly, it's a sign that, hey, I can do it too. My favorite rapper, this artist I like listening to, he changed his life after a very controversial and troubling time and turned himself into this. Motherfucker, I can do it too. He's my reason to keep going.
Discipline in Gunna's example, but you want the undeniable proof of something, right? Of the undeniable proof of consistency, the undeniable proof of discipline, the undeniable proof of trust, of honesty, whatever it is, right? You just want it to be undeniable. And the takeaway for all you creators out there is that your reposition needs some sort of anchor in the form of proof, right? Make it visible so people cannot deny the change. That's huge. Now, step 2, pillar 2, framing the new narrative, okay? Strategic storytelling and semantic anchoring. The album title, the last one, uses a narrative framing to create a clear before and after story that audiences can easily understand and share. This taps into the marketing principle that humans process information through stories, and giving the transformation a name makes it memorable and repeatable. So I mean, Gunna has done a lot of stuff over the past couple of months now. He's introduced his Run Club. He's had the album, the last one. He's had partnerships with Under Armour. I mean, honestly, the list goes on and on and on. He and his team have done a great job of framing the new narrative of Gunna. So the key insight that I have for y'all here is, don't just say you change, frame it and document it and explain what this new you is, whether it be through music, content, an essay. I don't give a fuck what it is, but just explain to the audience and take them along this ride because they want to be taken along. And last but not least is pillar 3, securing market validation. He had international collaborations on his last album, the last one, with partnerships like Burna Boy, WizKid, and Asake, positioning himself as a global talent, not just Atlanta based anymore. He also had the Under Armour partnership that I talked about, where he starred in a commercial alongside of Justin Jefferson, positioning himself as an athlete level figure of discipline, or positioning himself as like somewhat of an athlete, right? As someone that takes health and wellness serious. And now that he's done this collab with Under Armour, he even has his own page on their website where he has some of his favorite looks. And I would not be shocked if they go in and have a new Gunna signature line with an emphasis kind of on the streetwear but athletic leisure side. And the strategic positioning that him and his team did here was that they went from controversial rapper to an athlete level figure of discipline, and these moves unlock new markets, partners, and revenue streams, which is huge, right? Especially for someone in Gunna's case who doesn't have the backbone from his label anymore. He's creating his own revenue streams and branching outside of rap, which is amazing. And a contrast example of this is, again, I keep hating to beat up on 6ix9ine, but this is why 6ix9ine's rebrands attempts haven't worked as effectively, right? They lack authentic proof and validation from the market around him. So just as a summary, the 3-step formula is show the proof, frame the story.
Look, I said he got to earn his like and all that, bro. Hey, safe to say, y'all, safe to say, he's doing his shit with this presentation right now, man. I am
secure the validation from the market, from the audience, from partnerships, whatever it may be. Okay, so while all brand elements must align to tell one cohesive story, you can't position yourself as someone trying to become their best self while doing the opposite, right? Self-explanatory, but it needs to be said. He couldn't come out, gain all the way back, or challenge anyone who tried to shame his name. Consistency is everything. How you come out is how you should remain when you're doing a reposition. So now,
just not even acknowledging the old Brandon who you used to be, bro.
I feel like Gunna has kind of protected himself against the industry politics, where he's kind of untouchable at this point, right? Like, why would anyone or any other artist speak on Gunna currently? So let's say you don't agree with him and you think he's a snitch. You come out and say that, you make that statement. Now you're going to get hate because what you're essentially saying is that you don't like someone trying to pursue their best selves, right? Because the audience has already spoke. We still like the creation behind the artist, right? If you were to speak on him and talk down, you're essentially saying, I don't give a fuck how good or how well he's doing in life, or how well he's getting things back in motion for himself. He's a snitch, so therefore I can't fuck with him. That's just
facts. Like in 2022, you say this, it's valid to a degree because, I mean, you don't fuck with somebody because they snitched. Nigga, they did the right thing. It would have been valid a little more in 2022, but 3 years later, now there's that consistency over time. There's proof. Feel me? He's obviously changed. Now you really are just gonna sound like a hating nigga.
It's not a smart move. If you're an artist in the industry, you might as well just stay silent. So if you speak on them, then you're risking having people prey on your own demise because you don't like seeing someone do very well.
Lame ass nigga.
It is very important to understand the difference between rebranding and repositioning, right? This is a playbook for reposition, but it's important to understand the difference between the two. So rebranding, right? Well, the definition of rebranding can be viewed as a complete overhaul of a brand's identity, name, visuals, and core message. It also is a transformation of the brand promise and perception, and it's a strategic revamp. It touches every aspect of the brand or of the person that is doing the rebrand. Up here, we have the Burger King timeline of where they started out to where they are now in terms of a brand image and relogo. The key principles of a rebrand is that it goes beyond surface level changes, okay? It requires complete identity shifts, and it is a methodical process. It involves careful planning and execution, okay? So this is not just something that you just wake up one day and say, yeah, I'm rebranded, okay? It's going to be a strategic process. Usually it involves a lot of mood boards. It involves a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplating, to where you can set yourself up for a perfect rebrand because it needs multiple touch points. So for some very large corporations that have went under a rebrand, I chose both Nike and McDonald's, right? McDonald's because they went from a fast food to a quality, somewhat health conscious approach. Now, I'm not trying to say McDonald's is trying to be some kind of leader in the health industry, but they have definitely taken on the approach that people are starting to care about what is in their food. And you can see here that from being solely a purveyor of cheap, unhealthy fast food to a brand that emphasizes quality ingredients, customizable options, and a more health conscious approach, McDonald's has included new menu overhauls, restaurant modernizations, and marketing campaigns that focus on freshness and sourcing. Now, it's definitely cap, right? But what they're doing here is they're trying to rebrand to a more health conscious fast food chain. And then we have Nike, right? Which is one of the biggest rebrands, in my opinion, because they went from what was purely just a performance running shoe to encompassing to a lifestyle and cultural rebrand. Now they're big in clothes, pop culture. I mean, Nike is everywhere. So repositioning is what Gunna did and what I think a lot of folks should be looking into if they have a personal brand. So the definition of repositioning is changing the brand's perception and market position, shifting how customers think about your brand while keeping the same name and visuals. And it also is a strategic adjustment as well, but it's to better serve market needs, not necessarily to become a whole new thing. Some of the key principles of repositioning are keep existing brand's identity intact. So you want the same name, logo, and core elements. You want to focus on the perception shift. So essentially changing what the brand represents, not what it does. And then you also have the targeted market adjustments where you're going to modify your message, you're going to change a little bit of your value proposition, maybe even change some pricing. And in my opinion, this is a much lower risk than rebranding because it's less extensive, but it does require the market understanding on your end and the audience's end. But in my opinion, it is more risky to rebrand than it is to reposition. Now, brands that mastered repositioning, there's a ton of them, but a couple of ones that just came off my head when I was doing this were Apple, Netflix, and Amazon. Now, Apple repositioned itself as a premium lifestyle brand centered on design, user experience, and an integrated ecosystem where they were originally just a computer company focused on enthusiasts, right? Now they have the iPod, the iPhone, the App Store. They transformed into a global tech giant where they do much more than just computers. So they reposition into a new lane. Netflix, right? This is the big one where they started off as a DVD by mail rental service.
I'm gonna end the video here because he's no longer talking about Gunna for the rest of this. If y'all want to watch the rest of this branding video, I recommend y'all tap in with him. I'm subscribing, definitely. He did his shit. Feel me? His name, Roy Builds. I'm gonna make sure I put this at the beginning of the video because I know I didn't acknowledge it then. But great video, bro, for real. Great video. Only 1.5K, but this video hit the algo hard. So, shit. I don't know how many people gonna see this video by way of me, but hope this man keeps growing and keep building because great content for real. That's the end of this jump. That's my take on it, yo. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Feel me? Like this jump to get me in the algo. Comment if you got something to say. Sub up if you fuck with me, please. And we out this jump. Number 9 signing out.